Well, it's my last day on Easter vacation, and I decided to stop over at the Starbucks, get a Java chip. Definitely good. When I was in there were these two girls reading the paper, and they were like teenagers, and they were like talking about the royal wedding. And one's like, "What? What's the royal wedding?" And the other one's like, "What? What are you talking about? The prince and princess are getting married." Huh? What are you talking about? I don't heard anything about that. And she's like, okay, basically 20 years ago or something, this woman named Princess Diana died. It was like 20 years ago. And after that, she had a son. And then the son is now getting married. And they're getting married this Saturday. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And it was just like really weird. So I thought I'd tell you that. Royal wedding is coming up on Saturday. And I don't live in England, so I don't care too much, actually. Hey guys, I'm just checking out some stuff on YouTube here. These videos, I don't know who's watching these, but again, I've had, I guess, what could be seen as quite a few views on a lot of these videos ever since I started posting them 6 days ago or so, and it's really weird to me because, again, I don't know, I mean, I could see like, 10 people in my family, they watch the videos or whatever, but there's a big amount of people that are actually watching these. I don't know who. Because, I mean, there are some parts that, are kind of funny, like, for instance, my dad's story on, back on day 4 when he talked about the trucker, and then, when my nephew was talking about the resurrection with the helicopters and all that. So I can get that, but there's some days that are just like, it's just me, just like going about my normal life. I can't believe people are actually watching it, but hey, thanks for watching these videos if you're watching them. You're definitely invited to come along for the ride. So anyways, thanks. If you're, there might be people in all different kinds of parts of their life out there. You know, some people real old, some people really young, some people still in their family's house, and some kids about to graduate who can't wait to get out. I would tell you this, and parents always tell their kids this, but you never believe it until you get older. They say, oh, you're gonna miss those days. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, blah, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna miss this. Funny, you know. They say, oh, you're gonna miss going to school, you know, whatever. You're like, yeah, funny. I'm gonna miss this. But no, it's actually very true. I wanted to tell you this story today just because, now some people might not understand it. Like I said, some younger people might not really get it. They might go, oh, it's just a car. What's this all about? But the older you get, you start to realize that things are more important and life is a lot shorter than you originally think. And sometimes these things catch up to you and you realize it all in a moment. I originally wrote a note on Facebook about this, and so I'm going to tell you this story by reading this. And so listen to this story, and then I'm going to, again, it's going to be a short vlog today just because, again, I didn't do much today, just having my day off. But I'm going to read this story, and then I'm going to show you guys a clip from an old show called The Wonder Years that has to do with this topic. So when I tell you the story, I want you to think about your own life. Think about what maybe you're taking for granted and say, well, this might be a little thing, but am I going to miss this later on in my life? So, my Uncle Matt once told me that every adventure ends with an ice-cold drink. We would often go on night hikes or other short adventures when staying at his house, and before arriving back at home, we would stop at the local gas station to buy an energy drink or a fountain drink. Growing up, you remember these small things as if they meant the world, and maybe they did. Recently, I had to get rid of an old Mercury Villager minivan that I'd received from my parents about a year ago. We grew up using that van, and when I was in need of a car this past year, my dad gave me the van to use for youth groups and general transportation, that kind of stuff. And to many, there's no obvious reason why getting rid of this van would cause any sort of problem. It had recently begun to spout smoke, and all signs pointed to it costing more than it was worth to repair it. There was never anything special about the van itself, but it was the places that it took us that meant something. This van had transported me and my family to some of the best memories of our lives. In order to keep us from being bored on long trips, I remember that my mom used to get us small presents that we'd be allowed to open like several hours into the trip. We would know that they were there, but we weren't allowed to open them until several hours into the trip down the road to keep us from being bored. And these small gifts always kept us busy for a while, helped us to pass the time during long hours of travel. And we drove the van to Orlando, where we went to Disney World for the first time, which I've loved Disney ever since. We drove it out west to visit Mount Rushmore. That was my dad's idea. He wanted to go out west his whole life, and my mom said, there's nothing out there. I'm not, just more rocks, more mountains. I don't want to see that stuff. And finally we went out. We visited the west in that van. And it went with us on almost every camping trip that we went on, sometimes tugging along the old Apache pop-up behind it. We drove it countless times to St. Jude's in Memphis, Tennessee, to visit my brother who was a patient there. And even one time we packed the back with Christmas gifts as we prepared to spend Christmas Day at the hospital in St. Jude's. So when I finally had to clean it out, I had to clean it out before the people towed it away. I found some old relics from the days past. Maps of places we had been, old basketball cards that we had had when we were kids, some Bugs Life window stickers from the movie that my brother used to put on the back windows when he was little. Small and worthless items in them of themselves, but monuments of a larger story. After cleaning it out and watching it get towed away, I walked down the block to the Sheets, because every adventure ends with a drink.
We finally got our new car. It wasn't red, it wasn't a convertible, heck, it wasn't even a Mustang, but it was brand new. And it was pretty cool. Of course, Dad got his shot at King for a day, and we were happy for him.
Where will they take it then?
I don't know. Probably sell it for scrap.
But that afternoon, I began to understand what Dad had been going through. There was more to that old car than fuel pumps and crankshafts. There was part of all of us in that car. The places we'd gone, the things we'd done, the family we'd been, the family that was moving on. And for the first time, I understood the value of what my dad had put into it. And why it was so hard to let it go.
Growing up happens in a heartbeat. One day you're in diapers, the next you're gone. But the memories of childhood stay with you for the long haul. I remember a town, a place, a street like a lot of other streets, and a yard like a lot of other yards. But the thing is, after all these years, I still look back with wonder.